Soul Signal Show. Come on and join the flow. Feel the rhythm in your heart. It's time to let it glow. Yeah, yeah, hey. It's time to let it glow.
Welcome, beautiful souls. I'm Sharon Marie Allen, founder of Soul Signals. Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode where we'll go beyond surface level conversations and step into deeper layers of reality, from profound healing, energetic awareness and manifestation to amazing experiences and transformations. We'll even cover topics like the afterlife, spirit communication, and the unexplained phenomena most people only whisper about. We'll be having fun talking about serious subjects. Have you ever experienced something so unlikely, so specific, and so undeniable that it completely changed the way you saw reality? Here we'll explore these topics through real stories, deep conversations, fascinating experiences, and powerful insights with curiosity, honesty, and a sense of adventure. Whether you're here out of curiosity, personal experience, or because something inside you has been nudging you to explore deeper, you're in the right place. This episode's conversation is one of those stories that challenges what most people think is possible. I'm joined by my dear friend Huda Mahdi, and we're sharing one of those experiences that made us stop and say, wow. Welcome to the show, Huda.
Hi, Sharon.
How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thank you for being here to share this experience with me and our listeners and for being part of the maiden voyage of Soul Signals.
Oh my God, I'm very thankful and thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure. I think the story we're about to share is a good one that our listeners will enjoy.
It
It's
is
actually,
totally.
yeah, it's actually multi-layered and involves both of us.
I know. It's actually it's funny how me and Sharon sometimes get messages for each other, however, through each other.
True, right? Yeah, we often receive messages through one another. A little background. Huda and I met at the beginning of our training stages in the beauty industry, taking the makeup artistry program at John Casablanca's Fashion and Career College in Vancouver, BC, Canada, back in 1994. And we've been friends ever since.
I know it's crazy. It's been over 30 years.
It has. And we both continued in that field for many years. Huda grew in the direction of business management, leadership, and strategic development, and is the founder of Huda Moi. She now offers her personalized beauty center performance system that helps beauty business owners optimize their business results. A little plug for you, Huda, there. So, in case we have any spa, salon, or beauty owners listening that might be interested in learning more, I'll put her link in the show description below. Anyway, I too
That's
have
awesome.
continued in the beauty industry for many years, but simultaneously, the guidance and experiences in my life pulled my interest on an inward and energetic exploration as I started paying attention to the promptings and frequencies and honor what I was receiving. Unexplainable and amazing things began to happen. Curiosities led me to new discoveries of connection and learn more about abilities I never thought possible. For many years now, I've studied, practiced, and worked at mastering these powerful tools. It inspired me to help others to learn to do the same. Through intuitive healing sessions, I have had the privilege and honor of facilitating seemingly miraculous healings and transformations in thousands of people worldwide. Now, as a teacher and a speaker, I help people activate and trust their intuitive abilities and learn to develop the skills to create healthy, happy, aligned, and abundant lives. If you want to learn more about some of these teachings and trainings, I'll put my website link in the description below. Anyway, through the years, Huda and I have kept in constant contact and have had some interesting experiences and aha moments together. Some of those moments were right? Some of those moments were breathtaking and logic defying. Who knew back then where we'd be today? It's given us some good stories to tell, that's for sure. In fact, we may have her back on other episodes to share more.
Yes, we do have a lot of good stories to tell for sure.
We do. These stories are more than anecdotes. They were life changing for us and they demonstrate how this stuff worked for us and it can work for you. The particular story that we would like to share with you today is a great example of how intuition works, what signs look like, how synchronicity shows up, and things make manifest. We call it the Do Read story, and you're about to find out why. The story clearly demonstrates that we are working with, guided, and supported by influences beyond our visual perception. So let's get into it. The sequence of events happened one day in the summer of 2020. I was living on my ranch in beautiful BC, Canada, and Huda resided in the province to the east of me in Calgary, Alberta. One summer morning, I woke up and I started my day as I usually do, being grateful for things. I learned a long time ago that having an attitude of gratitude is a great way to start your day. Appreciating what you have and allowing yourself to express and feel thanks for it improves your mental health and happiness. It rewires your brain, it reduces stress, and it enhances overall well being. And the way you feel establishes the energy frequency you broadcast. So not only does this set your mood for the day, but your energy frequency affects your very reality. Think about this for a moment. You are constantly creating your reality by the thoughts you choose to think and believe, and ultimately by the vibration you choose to project. If you hear anything on the show, hear this. You literally have the power to change everything in your life simply by changing the energy frequency you broadcast. Your energy is a tangible physical frequency that not only affects you, but it's picked up by others, whether consciously or unconsciously, affecting how they perceive you and affecting their energy perceptibly or imperceptibly.
That's true. It's like having someone. Have you ever had someone that is in a bad mood next to you or around you where you actually get affected by it? I know I
Yeah.
have.
Yep.
And it's like, or even if, or the opposite, when someone is like, their energy is up and their vibration is high, you get affected and get to be in a great mood, and it picks you up. Like, of course, by calling you Sharon, I always get lifted up.
Yeah, it's true. Your mood does affect everybody. It affects the room. It affects everything else. And this isn't conjecture, guys. It's basic science. Some of you may already know this, but for our listeners that are new to this idea, let me take a moment to explain. The idea is that everything in the universe is made up of energy, and similar energies attract each other like magnets. That's where the phrase like attracts like comes in, meaning that positive energy attracts positive experiences, while negative energy attracts negative ones. In other words, what you put out there comes back, kind of like the principles of karma, right? You know, you have a choice in every moment to choose
Mhm.
how you think and feel. So by choosing to feel thankful for things, you literally attract more things to be thankful for.
And everyone can find something to be grateful for, whether it's something that is so simple, or it could sound simple by being alive, but it's the whole greatness about it. And or even like, breathing fresh air, or I love that saying, I woke up with two gifts today, and it was my eyes. And it's so
Uh,
true. Like, we should be so grateful for being able to walk, getting up, making your coffee, grabbing, your pet, whatever it is. It's we always have a lot to be grateful for and thankful for.
yeah. Someone may not have sight or hearing. If you do, you're fortunate and you should be thankful for that, right? So exactly. But I don't know about you guys, but I choose to focus my energy on positive experiences.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm always grateful for everything. I make a conscious effort to be more so when I first wake up because it sets the tone for my day. I also set the intention for the things I'd like to see, do, have, or accomplish as if it already happened. And then I'm thankful for that as well. This is how working with the law of attraction works. And this is where many people fail at working with manifestation intentionally. They may think the thoughts of what they want, but they don't get themselves to the place where they believe it.
Yes, and it's not just wishful, thinking, or it's like hoping. You need to believe in it, and you gotta be thankful and grateful for everything around you.
Exactly. Wishing or hoping are weaker vibrations. They leave room for doubt. Belief leaves no room for doubt. It's a stronger vibration. You have to believe it in the present tense, like it's already happening, because tomorrow never comes. It's always now, right? After getting clear about what I want, I add that to the things I'm grateful for as if I already have it, knowing with complete confidence that if it's for my highest good, it will make manifest in my reality. And this isn't new information, by the way. This is ancient wisdom. It has been spoken about in ancient texts. It's a well known and profound spiritual principle, often referred to as the Matthew effect. Although I'm a deeply spiritual person, I'm not religious. However, I've studied most of the major religions in the world, and I can tell you that you can find this exact reference in two key places in the Gospel of Matthew in the Christian Bible. Matthew 13:12. For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. In Matthew 25:29, for to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. While that sounds harsh on the surface, the context of the Bible isn't about physical wealth, but rather spiritual capacity and stewardship. So in Matthew 13, Jesus is explaining why he speaks in parables. He suggests that those who are open to spiritual truth, the haves, will receive even deeper insights, while those who have hardened their hearts, the have nots, will lose even the basic understanding they once had. In Matthew 25, this appears at the end of the parable of the talents. It's a lesson on using the gifts, energy, and resources you've been given. So if you invest and grow what you have, like your intuition or your healing work, you naturally expand your capacity for more. If you hide or ignore your gifts out of fear, your ability to use them eventually withers away. So, a modern perspective of this is, in a way, it aligns perfectly with the concepts of manifestation and momentum. It's the idea that like attracts like. When you operate from a place of abundance and gratitude for what you already have, you create a signal that draws more of the same energy toward you.
That's right. And also, same as what you mentioned in your book, Sharon, when the similar reference in the Quran,
Yeah,
in Surah Ibrahim, it's where it says, "Ishkuruni لأزيدنكم." The more you are grateful for or thankful for, the more I'm going to be giving you. So it's not only in the Holy Quran or the Holy Bible or in the books. See, they all brought it from somewhere.
yeah,
And I believe definitely it's an energetic thing because after so many years we do go back to like they say God, they say energy, we say science, like it all wraps up together in the same.
yeah.
It's the same thing in the Quran, and a lot of the prophets say the more you're grateful for, then the more is going to be coming your way. However, with the like you mentioned, the have-nots is the ones when you're not grateful for, then that blessing is going to be taken away from you.
Exactly, because you're not putting out that frequency, right? So, okay, so now that we've
Mhm.
explained that, let's just get back to our story, because this is just a prime example of these things. So, on that particular morning in 2020, one of the things I consciously wanted to manifest was $300 for something. I don't even remember now what it was for, but I walked out of my room and I announced to the house that I was so happy and grateful for the $300 that was manifesting. And my son Joe and his girlfriend were up in the loft, so I was indirectly sharing it with them. They both responded with a, well, okay then remark, and we went about our mornings. Now, fast forward to the afternoon, and I get this call from Huda. Huda, tell us what happened on your end.
Definitely. So I'm just gonna, go back again and say how me and Sharon get messages through each other. Now, I mean, sometimes they get to be a little scared. Well, for me, it's an exciting story or it might sound exciting to some people, but it's actually pretty scary when we get those messages. They end up for for either for me or for her. Okay, so that day I was working. I used to manage a spa inside Chinook Mall, and it was nice summer day, and I decided to leave early that day. And as I was driving, I thought, oh yeah, I wanted to go get that book from Chapters, which was just a couple of blocks away from me. And it was by Dr. Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters.
Good book.
And I stopped at a red light, and the heat and the sun was in my face, and it was traffic. And for a second there, I thought, I don't know, maybe I'm just gonna go home. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go home. I'll get it another day. Like it was just, I don't know, it just felt really hot and I just didn't feel like going there. And the green light goes on and I started driving thinking that I'm gonna go home. As I am trying to go to the right lane, I see a white SUV that was going in front of me, which is like going to the right lane. And the vehicle's license plate said on it, "Do read." Now that's just like absurd. I was looking at it and I'm squinting my eyes and leaning my head to the side and I'm like, am I reading this right? And it says and it was in capital letters. It was those personalized license plates. And I'm thinking, and I'm like, who puts that? Like out of all the things that, people, I mean, I know I've seen some crazy personalized license plates, but read
Yeah.
and like how much louder could a message be? And I'm like, it was as soon as I decided to let go of the idea of, going to Chapters and getting the book, I see that like it was so instant. And I'm like, okay, okay, I'll go get the book. And I made the turn and I went to Chapters and I called Sharon. Funny thing is that they didn't have the book. And I called Sharon and I'm freaking out, like, seeing that. And yeah, it was crazy. Like seriously, like who puts that? Who puts that on their
Yeah, you were pretty
license plate?
yeah, you were pretty freaked out. But there's more to this story. As she's sharing this story with me and we're musing at the cleverness of the sign and awing at its delivery, it called to mind a prompting that I had had and had been having it for the previous 3 weeks to this conversation that was also about a book that I wanted to read, and I told her about it. This is an example of how a message for one of us often turns out to be for the other person as well. A little backstory about the book that I wanted to read. I was being urged to read it. So before I moved up here to the ranch, I lived in the lower mainland area of Vancouver, BC. And when I was there, I had purchased the book by Dr. Michael Newton, Destiny of Souls. And I had started reading it, but I was only about halfway through in the middle of our move, and I ended up packing it away before finishing it with some other books to take up to the ranch. Unfortunately, as I was moving into a much smaller house and didn't have room for all my books, most of them were put into storage on the property. But I had reserved one box of books to bring into the house, which I unpacked onto a small bookshelf that I have here. And I remember I was really disappointed to discover that the specific book that I was in the middle of reading wasn't in that box. It made it to the new house, but it was in storage now. Um, so it wasn't there. And it was a big undertaking to move everything out of the storage to locate it because the storage unit was big. It was full of boxes piled on top of each other, and I had no idea where it was. So I hadn't done so since. Even though I'm an organized mover with everything labeled, covered, color coded, and loaded into the moving trucks in sections, with all the people that were helping us unload and bring things into the different areas, it didn't get unloaded quite as I'd hoped. So now, fast forward to 2 years later, when Huda's telling me this story, I said to her, "You just reminded me of something. I've been wanting to finish reading a book, Destiny of Souls, and it's popped into my mind a few times over the last few weeks." Anyway, moments after finishing our conversation, I had to go downstairs to get something. And as I did, I passed my bookshelf. Anyone who knows me knows I like things clean, organized, and nicely displayed. So normally all my books are lined up straight. And in my peripheral vision, one book caught my attention because it had kind of flopped over on its side. So I stopped to turn and put it back upright. As I did, the book beside it caught my eye. Guess which book it was?
Destiny of Souls.
Yes, it was the exact book I was looking for. Exactly. Now, I know for a fact that book wasn't there. It wasn't there when I put the books there, and it hadn't been there for that 2 years. Come on, I dust the shelves on a regular basis, and that book was not there. This was a seemingly magical occurrence. And point to note, I live very remotely. I'm like on a mountaintop in the middle of nowhere. Um, it's not like anyone had been around that could have placed it there. And it just kinda like you, it kinda struck me and it stopped me dead in my tracks. I was dumbfounded. I even called upstairs to ask my son and his girlfriend about it, who those guys basically only read online or listened to audiobooks. They had never touched any of my books down there. So just like Huda's earlier experience, it shocked and surprised me and caused me to pause. I stood there for several seconds processing this. And just like Huda, I was questioning how it got there and marveling at its arrival and the timing and the inner promptings that had led up to its discovery. For 3 weeks, I'd been, after 2 years of not really thinking about it, for 3 weeks it had kept popping into my head. But I've become accustomed to these kind of manifestations. Like it happens on a regular basis, daily, really, honestly. So then I simply acknowledged its arrival, thankfully, and I took it upstairs with me. But there's more. So I set it down on the side table next to the sofa and went about my day. But later that evening, I settled down on the sofa. I got comfortable. It's a recliner. So I put my feet up, switched on the lamp on the side table, and I picked up the book, getting ready to read it. When I opened the book, guess what I found? I found exactly $300 in cash. It was just sitting there between the pages. I again found myself shocked and pleasantly surprised, but then the thought occurred to me that, oh my God, my son must have put it there, since I had made the proclamation in the morning about manifesting the $300. So I called up to the loft saying, "Thank you, Joe." And he said, "For what?" And I was like, "The money." He's like, "What money? The $300 you put in the book?" He then informed me that he hadn't put any money in my book. And since we're the only ones on the property, I then asked his girlfriend if it was her who had put the money in the book. She replied that she had not, and it was clear that neither of them had any idea what I was talking about. They remembered me mentioning the $300 in the morning, but that was as far as their knowledge went on the subject. So here's the thing. I have never been one to hide money in random places. I'm very organized. I have always been careful where I put my things. Everything has a place, and I could not recall ever putting money inside this book, any book for that matter. It didn't make any logical sense. And for the sake of argument, even if I had actually put money in prior to packing it up, and then for some other reason forgotten, and I had done so, what are the odds that it would be exactly $300 or that I would find it on the exact same day as I declare I'm going to manifest 300 bucks? I just sat there reviewing the sequence of events of what took place that day. So first, Huda and I had the promptings. For me, it was a nudge to find the and read the book. That had been happening for the 3 weeks. For Huda, it was to acquire and read the book that interested her. Then our conscious override. For me, I deemed it was going to take too much time and effort to receive, get it out of the storage. For Huda, it was also an inconvenience. The sun was too hot, the traffic was too bad. And thinking back on our conversation, I actually remember her also telling me that she probably wouldn't make the time to read it anyway. And then we had the signals to kind of get us back on track again. For Huda, it was seeing a license plate right in front of her that said, "Do read." And then for me, it was the book that had fallen on its side. Okay, so then the manifestations. For Huda, it was the new book that she bought, and then the copy of the one that she wanted that I could give her. For me, it was the book I wanted to finish reading and the $300. So this is often what happens. Our intuition tells us something. In this case, your intuition was telling you through the thought and prompting of wanting to read that book, but then our conscious mind overrides it. We make up our excuses, our reasons not to listen. In this case, the weather was hot, the traffic was busy, whatever. You decided not to do it. So then you were given a sign to reinforce the intuitive message. Your sign appeared in the form of a license plate directly in front of you with a message, "Do read." So off Huda goes to get the book, still affected by it. That's another clear indication something is more than a coincidence. It affects you emotionally. Sometimes you even have a physiological, like a physical response to it, such as goosebumps or chills or your stomach flips. In her case, it shook her up. So she calls me from the bookstore telling me, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe this," and proceeds to tell me the
I have
story.
the goosebumps.
Goosebumps, yes. Anyway, this is just one of our stories how energy, intuition, communication, and manifestation work. They often work together.
Yes, over the years, learning to work with the law of attraction has made these occurrences happen more and more frequently.
Yeah. The law of attraction or manifestation is one of the universal laws, like the law of gravity. Whether you believe it or not, it's always working. If you jump up, you're coming down. And if you're not focusing your attention and energy vibrations, then you're seeing the manifestations of whatever frequencies you're putting out there. S-
Think back. Have you ever thought about something you wanted, like a specific vehicle, and suddenly you start seeing that exact vehicle type everywhere? I know I have with my Audi.
With the Audi. Yeah, I've done that several times. Yes. So, how many of you have had promptings and then talked yourself out of it? An example would be getting ready to leave your house on a sunny day and having the thought to get your umbrella, but you don't listen. You consciously override it, telling yourself that it didn't look like it was going to rain and you'd be fine. But then later, the weather changes and you find yourself thinking, "I knew I should have listened." Right? Yeah. So that
I've done
happens,
this.
right? I have too. We all
Yeah,
have. And
a
that's an
lot.
example of intuition. Once you start paying attention to it and honoring it, even when it doesn't seem like it makes sense, then you find yourself thinking, "Oh, I'm so glad I listened." So in that example, you would have had your umbrella when you needed it, right? So it doesn't, it's not intuition and the guidance and the signs. It's not someone coming on, with a booming voice, "Huda, grab your umbrella." It's it's a thought that you have. And we have a lot of thoughts. I won't get into the stats on that, but it's when something pops up, and it could be something random. Like I always like to use the example of, I was doing a reading for someone once, and the thought came in my mind of Kermit the Frog. Okay, I could have just carried on and just thought, Kermit the Frog. But no, if you're having a thought and there's no logical reason for it, like I wasn't watching a cartoon, I didn't hear a show, there was no music in the background, like it's random, I stop and think, okay, where did that come from? Or what does Kermit the Frog mean to me? Or I'll sit with that thought for a minute, and then usually more thoughts come. And I realized in the reading that the person that was coming through for the person that I was giving the reading to, that was the nickname of the person that the person that had died that was giving me the message. And they're like, "Oh my God, that's their nickname." Yeah, because when I'm doing a reading, sometimes I'll think of something and I don't know what it means. So I'll say, "Why am I thinking of Kermit the Frog?" And they'll go, "Oh my God, that was his nickname." So it's just paying attention to your own thoughts and then honoring the information. So, like in that example, if you're standing at the door and you have the thought to get the umbrella, even though it doesn't make any sense, go get your umbrella. That's called honoring the information. Anyway, um, what was I going to say about that? It's just basically you're in constant communication with higher wisdom, and you can label that whatever you want. But when we catch the nudges, our days and lives go so much more smoothly. Now, know that not everything is a sign. You know by how you feel when you discover one. Sometimes it completely catches you off guard and shocks you, or you have a physiological response to it, like the goosebumps, chills, and stuff that we were talking to.
In this story, that's exactly what happened to me, Sharon. That's why I had to call you right away from chapters. It feels like something exciting happened, but for me, sometimes it does get to feel scary. I'm a little chicken. Beep. It's so obvious that it makes me question, like, who did that? Who would do that? What's actually communicating with me? And experiencing like this really make you question how much more there may be happening around us. Um, that we've been taught to notice. Some, exactly just like how you said it right now. Not everything is a sign. Some people start to um overthink it and overdo it. Oh, is this a
Yeah.
sign? Oh, is that a sign? You do truly feel it once it's a sign. You actually just pause there and look at it, and deep inside there is that feeling. And sometimes it, like, when you try to no, sometimes it comes constant in different ways and forms, and yeah, like in different ways, and we ignore it, and that's when it actually starts to come louder. And yes, it stops you, because you're not paying attention, or you're doubting it, or when a sign comes through, you start sometimes to doubt it, like, no, I'm just like, it's not it. So it might, you'll be lucky that it does come back to you louder.
Yeah, you're right.
But when you're paying attention, yeah, but when you're paying attention, the guidance is subtle, just thoughts you have or feelings.
Yeah, and when you get in the practice of doing that, you start hearing all more and more of your thoughts, and you catch more and more of the guidance, and then it doesn't have to scream at you or shock you or stop you in your tracks if you're listening, right? I mean, I remember recently someone was coming to visit us, and it's hard to find where we are, and I was all dressed, ready in the house, and the thought popped into my head to check the address, and I thought, like, the address sign in the front of the property, and I thought, "Well, that's a random thought," and it was raining and cold on that day, and I didn't feel like putting on my jacket and my boots and everything and heading out, but I thought, "Okay, I'm gonna honor it," and I went in the front, and I guess because 'cause we'd had a windstorm in that last week, it had literally knocked over the sign because it was on, like, a pole in the ground, and I couldn't find it at first. I had to look around. It blew it over. It was face down in some trees and grass and whatever, but I found it and I set it up and I thought, "Oh my God, the person wouldn't even realize that this was the property that they were looking for." So, yeah, it was just a thought and I listened, but when you don't listen, it does. It gets loud and it has to grab your attention. So, okay, if you have had any amazing experiences, stories of manifestations, intuitive moments, or things you still can't explain, we'd love to hear about them in the comments.
Yes, definitely. I want to hear about it.
Me too. I
Read
love
it.
hearing people's stories. I love hearing about their real experience stories. Who knows? We might even have them on as a guest on the show if the story's cool enough. This do
Mhm.
read story, as Huda and I like to call it, it's actually one of the experiences I share in my upcoming book. I explore accounts of profound healings and extraordinary transformations, cool insights and manifestations, signs and synchronicities, and connections and communications with departed loved ones, with the unseen, and working with vibrational frequencies. I take you on my life's journey of discovery, and I got to tell you, it's been quite the journey so far. And when I
Oh,
talk about,
yeah.
right? It could be a movie of the week every week till I don't know, God knows how long. But anyway, when I talk about profound healings, I'm talking about people that couldn't walk who could then walk, people with inoperable tumors that have had them completely disappear, long-standing illnesses and conditions that are no longer there, in supposedly incurable diseases that are healed. Anyway, we'll talk about those on other shows, but basically the book talks about moments that challenge everything we think and know about reality. For a long time, I've wanted to share these stories because myself, like many others, were not taught not to believe that these things were even possible, such as being able to heal ourselves. Things that were previously labeled as miraculous are now, I realize, are how it's supposed to be. And they're now common occurrences. So this information might be not be new for you. You may have heard it before. You might even be applying some of it and becoming more aware and paying attention to signs. Or maybe this is all new. Either way, if you have things you want to heal or change in your life, or you need guidance on, and you want to learn how to tune in or work with the powerful healing frequencies, if you too would like to get started in developing your own intuition and manifestation skills, I'm going to leave a link to our courses in the description. And if you'd like to stay informed about the release of the book, be one of the first to get a copy and receive early subscriber bonuses, you'll also find that link in the comments. Huda, I want to thank you so much for coming on and telling your side of the story. I'm sure we're going to have you back on another episode if you're up for it.
Oh my God, for sure, definitely. This is exciting.
It is. And you guys, thanks for being patient. This is our first serious episode. I've done some little clips, but um, yeah, this is our maiden voyage. So forgive any errors that we made in doing it, but we want to thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. It's with your support that I will be able to continue to get this information out into the world to help other people. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, beautiful souls, keep tuning in.
Ready, set, go. Let the magic begin. We'll ride the waves of joy. Let the fun seep in. It's the soul